namaskar. This is Firstpost and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The countdown has begun. New Delhi is gearing up to host arguably the biggest diplomatic event in its history, the G20 Leaders' Summit. China has finally confirmed today that Xi Jinping will not come. If the idea was to undermine India's presidency, it's a case of China cutting its nose to spite its face. It erodes their already weak relationship with Europe. It undermines Xi Jinping's global standing, and it shows that they put petty politics over the interests of the global south. As news of Xi's absence was confirmed, India also began border drills in the Himalayas. We'll bring you the full story. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president has fired his defense minister in the middle of the war. We will tell you why. Turkey's president went to Russia to convince Vladimir Putin to revive the Black Sea grain deal. What was Putin's response? We'll discuss that. Why is Nepal complaining about China's new map? Why is Pakistan's army chief meeting business leaders? Why the custody battle of an NRI mother in Australia has become a diplomatic issue. Why Italy is exiting the Belt and Road Initiative. What's happening in the coup-hit countries of Niger and Gabon. And are there microplastics in your brain? All this and more coming up. The headlines first. South Africa says there is no evidence it's applied arms to Russia. President Cyril Ramaphosa says an independent investigation has found no proof. Last December, the US envoy to South Africa had alleged a Russian ship was loaded with arms near Cape Town. Pretoria has maintained good ties with Moscow despite its invasion of Ukraine, prompting criticism from the West. Malaysia drops corruption charges against its Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, was facing 47 charges of graft and money laundering, but the court said this was not an acquittal. Zahid was appointed Deputy Prime Minister after elections in November last year. This is after his party joined the ruling coalition of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Japan is reeling under the Fukushima backlash. Tokyo increases its aid for the fishing sector by over $140 million. Japan's decision to release wastewater from the nuclear plant has angered China. Beijing has banned Japanese seafood. China is Japan's biggest overseas market for seafood. The Africa Climate Summit begins in Kenya. More than a dozen African leaders are attending the first edition of this summit. Kenyan President Ruto wants rich nations to be held accountable. The United Nations says Africa accounts for only 2 to 3% of the world's carbon emissions, but is the worst affected by global warming. And Iran shuts down a water park for violating hijab rules. The water park was closed for allowing women entry without the headscarf.